Now we will discuss chi-square distribution. Chi-square distribution is introduced by Carl Pearson. It deals with the probability distribution of a random variable chi-square. Here this chi-square is a non-negative random variable and its probability behavior is discussed in the equation of chi-square distribution. In the definition we have a non-negative random variable chi-square is said to follow chi-square distribution with n degrees of freedom if its probability density function is f of chi-square equals 1 by 2 raised to n by 2 gamma n by 2 e raised to minus chi-square by 2 chi-square whole raised to n by 2 minus 1, and the variable is chi-square, its range is greater than 0, that is non-negative random variable. And in the equation of this chi-square distribution, we have one constant n and its value is also greater than 0. And this is denoted by this chi-square follows chi-square n. Here the left chi-square represents the variable chi-square and right chi-square represents the name of the distribution. And in that equation of the distribution, since there is only one constant n, in this notation we address in terms of n. That is how we have chi-square follows chi-square n. Moreover, in the equation we see one new function called gamma n by 2. See, this is read as gamma n by 2. Now, gamma function is a mathematical function. It represents an integral over 0 to infinity. When this n is a whole number, this gamma n represents n minus 1 factorial. For example, if n is 5, it is gamma 5. Gamma 5 is 5 minus 1, that is 4 factorial. So its value will be 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, that is 24. So gamma 5 is 24. It's a mathematical function. It represents an integral 0 to infinity e raised to minus x power n minus 1 dx. See, we are not coming to the details of this mathematical function. Here we read it as gamma n by 2. So here the function gamma of n by 2 is considered in the equation of chi-square distribution. Now we come to the various properties of chi-square distribution. As we know, the random variable considered in chi-square distribution is non-negative and continuous. Next, we can see a relation connecting both the chi-square distribution and also exponential distribution. Suppose we put n as 2 in the equation of chi-square distribution. That is, in this equation, we consider n as 2. So it will be 1 by 2 raised to 2 by 2, gamma 2 by 2, e raised to minus chi-square by 2, chi-square raised to 2 by 2 minus 1. So 1 by 2 raised to 2 by 2, it is 2 only. And gamma 2 by 2 is gamma 1. Gamma 1 means 0 factorial. According to this relation, it is 0 factorial. 0 factorial is 1. So this side is only now 1 by 2. That 1 by 2 from this 1 by 2 raised to 2 by 2, and this is 1. So it is actually 1 by 2. Now next is e raised to minus chi-square by 2. Nothing happens here. Now chi-square raised to 2 by 2 minus 1 means chi-square raised to 0, which is 1. In short, the equation will be reduced as 1 by 2 e raised to minus chi-square by 2. We have discussed exponential distribution with the probability density function f of x equals m e raised to minus mx. Suppose you treat m as 1 by 2 here. It will be 1 by 2 e raised to minus x by 2. So its structure is very similar to this 1 by 2 e raised to minus chi-square by 2. The only difference is x is replaced by chi-square. So this shows a relation between this chi-square distribution and exponential distribution. That is, if n greater than 2, n is equal to 2, the probability density function of exponential distribution, we get the probability distribution of exponential distribution with m equals 1 by 2. That is, the distribution given in this equation of chi-square will be reduced to the equation of exponential distribution with m equals 1 by 2. Next, the mean and variance of chi-square distribution. The mean of chi-square distribution is given by e of chi-square equal to n, and variance is chi-square equal to 2n. That is, mean is the degrees of freedom or the constant of the distribution, that is n, and variance is the double of n, 2 into the constant or the degrees of freedom of the chi-square distribution. Degrees of freedom is actually the number of independent parameters involved in the equation of this, in the formulation of this equation of the density function. We'll come to later when we discuss with the samples of samples drawn from populations. Anyway, for the time being, we treat n as the constant of the distribution. So the mean is actually the constant n of the distribution, and variance is twice the constant of the distribution. Next, we have the higher order moments of chi-square distribution. We have the first moment mu1 dash, that is mean itself, n. Then mu2 is the variance, it is 2n. Mu3 is 8n. Mu4 is 48n plus 12n square. So the skewness and kurtosis measures are discussed now. Measure of skewness is given by mu3 square by mu2 cube, that is 64n square by 8n cube. That is by substituting here mu3 as 8n, so 64n square, mu3 square, and mu2 is 2n, so 2n cube is 8n cube. We can simplify it as 8 by n. So gamma 1 is root beta 1, that is root 8 by n. You note that this frequency, this root 8 by n is always greater than 0. Therefore, the frequency curve will be positively skewed. The frequency curve of chi-square distribution will be positively skewed. But also here we can note one more relation connecting the normal distribution properties. That is, if n becomes larger and larger, this gamma 1 will be 0, will be negligible, because n appears in denominator. For greater values of n, gamma 1 will be 0. That is, in n tends to infinity, gamma 1 tends to 0. When gamma 1 tends to 0, the frequency curve becomes symmetric. So this shows a relation connecting this chi-square distribution and normal distribution. So in short, we see that when n tends to infinity, the frequency curve of chi-square distribution becomes similar to that of the frequency curve of normal distribution. You can see here the graph of chi-square distribution drawn for different values of n. So here this is the case of n equals 1. Next is n equals 2, n equals 3, n equals now 5. This is n equals 10, and now comes n equals 20. We note that when n becomes larger and larger, the shape becomes gradually symmetric. And that's the indication here we found, that is when n tends to infinity, gamma 1 tends to 0. So this graph shows that relation connecting chi-square distribution and normal distribution that occurs when n becomes large. Next we have the measure of kurtosis, that is beta 2, mu4 by mu2 square. Substituting these values of mu4 and mu2, we get 48n plus 12n square by 4n square, that is equal to 3 plus 12 by n. When we take gamma 2, that is beta 2 minus 3, it will be 12 by n, which is positive. So this shows that the frequency curve of chi-square distribution is leptokurtic. Moreover, when n becomes large, we can see this gamma 12 by n will be 0, and in that situation, the frequency curve will become mesokurtic. Next, we find a relation connecting this square of standard normal and also chi-square distribution. Here we assume that z is a standard normal random variable, that's given by this line z follows n01. Now suppose we square this z and introduce a new variable as z square. We can show that z square follows chi-square distribution with 1 degree of freedom, that is with n equals 1. Now generally we have a relation connecting this normal distribution with mean mu and standard deviation sigma and also n01, and which we have discussed, applied many times in finding probabilities related to random variables following normal distribution. That is, if x follows n mu sigma, then z equals x minus mu by sigma follows n01. So if you square this relation connecting normal and standard normal, we get z square as x minus mu by sigma whole square. And the standard normal square is chi-square with 1 degree of freedom. Actually, x minus mu by sigma square also will be chi-square with 1 degree of freedom. Or this statement shows that any normal in the sense normal with the mean mu and variance sigma square, no need to be standard normal. So this x follows normal distribution with mean mu and standard deviation sigma also can be transformed to standard normal and then squaring to get chi-square distribution with 1 degree of freedom. So this is known as the chi-square statistic. Now you can transform this. You can use this transform. You can use this transformation to the transform any random variable following normal distribution to chi-square distribution. Next, we consider the role of chi-square distribution in sampling distribution. For that, we consider a sample drawn from a normally distributed population. So the sample is represented by the set of variable x1, x2, etc. xn. So this is a set of variables representing the sample drawn from a normally distributed population. The normally distributed population has mean mu and standard deviation sigma. Therefore, these all random variables are coming from same population, same group of items. Therefore, each of these random variable is supposed to inherit the population distribution, the population mean or the population measures. Therefore, x1, x2, etc. xn are identically distributed random variables and each random variable has n mu sigma square distribution. This n mu sigma square distribution is the distribution of the population, and because of all these variables coming from same population, all these random variables means the random variables representing the sample coming from same population, all these random variables are identically distributed as n mu sigma square, or in terms of standard deviation n mu sigma. That is given in this line xi follow n mu sigma. Now we have the equation of sample variance, that is s square. It is given by 1 by n sigma is equal to 1 to n xi minus x bar whole square, where this x bar is a sample mean and its equation is 1 by n sigma is equal to 1 to n xi. Here we note that this s square is a statistic. S square deals with the variables representing sample. So any measure of sample variables representing sample is known as a statistic. Therefore, x square is a statistic as well as this x bar. X bar is also a measure of the variables representing sample. So here in chi-square distribution, we address the distribution of S square. That is, using the relation chi-square equals n square by sigma square follows chi-square distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. That is the relevance of chi-square distribution in sampling distribution. Earlier we found that mean of a sample drawn from a normally distributed population has sampling distribution n mu sigma. That is the first sampling distribution considered in this section, that is given by this line. Sampling distribution of mean of a sample taken from a population following normal distribution. So here we have a population which follow n mu sigma square, and x bar is the sample mean. Clearly it's a statistic, and its distribution is normal with mean mu and standard deviation sigma by root n. So this shows the distribution of mean of a sample taken from normally distributed population. In the present case, we consider the distribution of variance of a sample taken from normally distributed population, that is S square. So S square distribution is given by this relation chi-square equals n square by sigma square follows chi-square distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. This property is used to address the various features of sample variance S square. Now that we can see in the coming lines, that is the mean and variance of S square can be determined with the help of the similar properties of chi-square distribution with n degrees of freedom. We have found that chi-square distribution with n degrees of freedom has mean n. So here in the this chi-square equal to n square by sigma square follows chi-square distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So therefore its mean will be equal to its degrees of freedom, that is n minus 1. Next we have a property of expectation, that is E of Ax is equal to Ae of x. Therefore this n by sigma square can be treated as a constant. So it comes outside the expectation operator. So n by sigma square E of s square equal to n minus 1. That is E of s square equal to n minus 1 by n sigma square, which is 1 minus 1 by n sigma square. That is by breaking this n and 1 with the n, that is n by n 1 and minus 1 by n sigma square. Here we also note a difference between this or a dissimilarity between sample mean and sample variance. That is, in sample mean we found that mean of sample mean is population mean, that is E of x bar is mu. E of x bar means mean of sample mean. X bar is a sample mean and this E represents the expectation, or it is equivalent to the operator mean. So mean of sample mean is population mean and variance of sample mean is sigma square by n. Likewise, in chi-square distribution, mean of sample variance is not population variance, that is mean of s square. E of s square, mean of sample variance is not population variance. It is 1 minus 1 by n sigma square. But we also note that when n becomes larger and larger, 1 by n becomes smaller and 1 into sigma square. So in situation where n becomes large, mean of sample variance becomes population variance. In sample mean, mean of sample mean is always population mean, but in sample variance, mean of sample variance approaches to population variance when n becomes large. Next we can see the variance of S square using again the relation of n square by sigma square follows chi-square distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. Generally variance of chi-square distribution with n degrees of freedom is double of the degrees of freedom. So here it is V of n square by sigma square is double of the degrees of freedom of n square by sigma square, that is 2n minus 1. So we have again a property of variance. Variance of Ax is A square variance of x. I'm sorry, this is not expectation, it is actually variance. So I shall make the correction here. It is, you can see that it is this is actually variance, that is V of x. V of x. So n square by sigma power 4 V of s square. So it is equal to 2 into n minus 1. Shifting this n square by sigma power 4 to the opposite side. So it is 2 into n minus 1 by n square sigma raised to 4. Now chi-square distribution has the additive property. That means if chi-square 1 and chi-square 2 are two independent random variables following chi-square distribution with the n degrees of n1 and n2 degrees of freedom, then chi-square 1 plus chi-square 2 follows chi-square distribution with the degrees of freedom n1 plus n2. And we can make use of this relation to discuss the probability distribution of number of independent random variables following chi-square distribution. For that, in next property, we consider a set of random variables x1, x2, etc. xn. All represents a sample drawn from a population n mu sigma square. So clearly, each of these zi is equal to xi minus mu by sigma will follow n01. That is a principle of standardizing a normal using this relation z is equal to x minus mu by sigma. Now square of this standard normal will be chi-square with 1 degree of freedom. Therefore, each of these z1 square, z2 square, etc. zn square, each of these random variables are chi-square, they are chi-square random variables and they have chi-square distribution with 1 degree of freedom. So if you introduce a variable set square, which is sum of these n independently and identically distributed random variables, and that sum has chi-square distribution with n degrees of freedom. That is, z square follows chi-square distribution with n degrees of freedom. Here comes the relevance of degrees of freedom, the concept of degrees of freedom, because in this construction of the variable, we have n independent random variables, z1 square, z2 square, etc., zn square. So making use of these n independent random variables only, we formulated a variable z square that has chi-square distribution with n degrees of freedom. So degrees of freedom is therefore represents the number of variables involved in the formulation of the chi-square distribution. That is the meaning of degrees of freedom. So that n has a double role, that is the constant of the distribution, and that is the usual meaning of a distribution parameter. And the second role is that of degrees of freedom, that is the number of variables involved in the number of independent variables involved in the formulation of that distribution. That's about degrees of freedom. Next is the mode of chi-square distribution. Here, the mode of chi-square distribution can be determined as n minus 2. So we know that range of chi-square is always greater than 0. That is non-negative random variable. Therefore, definitely the mode must be positive. But when n less than or equal to 2, n less than 2, not less than or equal to, less than 2, chi-square will be negative. That is, the mode will be negative. Since it is inadmissible, we restrict these values of chi-square distribution n greater than or equal to 2 only, mode will exist. Therefore, for integers we take 1 and 2, the chi-square distribution has downward trend, and for n equal to 3 onwards, the frequency curve will increase till n minus 2 and then decrease. That we can see in the graph of chi-square distribution drawn here. That is, for n equals 1 and 2, they have immediate downwards graph. That is, this n equal to 1, the next n equal to 2. But for n equals 3, we can note that the graph will increase till this point. This point will be equal to 3 minus 2. That is the peak value, mod. Mod appears at 3 minus 2 when n equals 2. So this peak value will be at this, if you drop from this point to that this x-axis, chi-square axis, it will drop at 1. See, this is 5, so you can approximately see this is the 1/5 of this interval. So this peak value will be 1. Likewise, if you choose n equals 5, then the mod will be at 5 minus 2, that is n equal to 5. This is the graph of 5 minus 2. So if you drop from this point, the peak point, that will drop at 3. So this will be 3. So now we can see likewise the mode of chi-square distribution. So in this equation, mode is given by n minus 2. And next is the applications of chi-square distribution. Chi-square distribution has a lot of applications in statistical inference, mainly dealing with the test for variance of a normal population has a specified value, and test for independence of characteristics, test for goodness of fit, and also test for homogeneity of a data. And all those cases will be discussed along with the section statistical inference.